Dear students, you are most welcome to the first session of Unit 1. In this session, we are going to have a look at definitions of guidance, the aims of guidance, and the characteristics of guidance. Now, in looking at the definitions of guidance, the layman's point of view of guidance will be considered first, and that will be followed by the viewpoints of some psychologists that we have. Now, to begin with, let me indicate the objectives of the lesson. First, by the end of the lesson, students should be able to A. Define guidance, B. Explain the aims of guidance, and C. Explain the characteristics of guidance. Now to the side of the layman in the streets. The word guidance is nothing but to guide, to pilot, to manage, to steer, and assist, lead, and inform, and to instruct. Because of these views, many people, including parents, perceive the guidance officer as the one who directs students into and from occupations, programs, or courses. But in actual fact, this view of guidance is very much inadequate. For this reason, some definitions from psychologists have been given. And the first one that we can consider is that of Abigail 1966 and co. According to them, guidance can be conceptualized or seen as a concept, can also be seen as educational construct and a service. Now, as a concept, guidance means using an idea or the notion or viewpoint of someone to help another person. As educational construct, it is also said to be the provision of some sort of experiences that lead to total personal growth and self-acceptance. The experience here could be connected or linked up to knowledge, notion, and so forth and so on. The last is said to be a service, and that denotes the procedure organized to achieve a helping relationship. In actual fact, bringing all these three together will actually promote a helping relationship. Here, I'm talking about the idea, experiences, and procedures. So the issue is bringing them together will go a long way to promote a helping relationship. Apart from this, to another psychologist who is in the person of Jones, and again, Staffel and Stewart, 1970, have also come out with the fact that guidance is said to be some sort of assistance or a help given to individuals in making intelligent choice and adjustments in their lives. This definition actually underscores the fact that man has a choice to make and a problem to solve. According to Shetzer and Stone, 1976, guidance is the process of helping an individual to understand himself and his world. Here, understanding one's self is all about making one aware of his strengths and weaknesses, so that if anything at all, the one will have to work on his weaknesses to achieve exactly what he wants. Now, that of his world It's also talking about the fact that the person becomes aware of events taking place in his own environment and the people he has to interact with. The next people we can consider are Taylor and Buku, 2006. According to them, guidance is a program designed and, of course, well designed to help the individual to make intelligent and useful decisions of life and to relate well with people. So, this one is also talking about the fact that the program is well designed, and the ultimate aim of the program is to prepare an individual very well to be able to relate very well also in the people in his own environment.
Yeah, so the last person we can consider as far as definitions are concerned is that of Peku, 1991. For him, he is also talking about the fact that the individual really needs assistance. And the rationale behind that is to be able to actually develop his potentialities so as to be able to deal with the people he always has to interact with. In conclusion, guidance from the above definitions actually talks about provision of the assistance individuals actually need to develop their qualities so as to manage their own problems effectively. Yes, apart from the definitions we have actually considered, guidance may also be seen as the following. The first is a process. Well, it is a process in the sense that it is not any episodic event or one short event. It's something that actually goes on throughout one's life. And in the process, the one who actually enjoys the service is supposed to be well equipped with decision taking. And so it should go on right from the beginning up to the end of that person's life. That is why we say it's a process which goes on at all times. Aside that, it deals with individuals, and the individuals here is talking about those who are actually in need. But in actual fact, it is not about those who are actually in need. It is for all of us because we have something we call preventive guidance, and then we have remedial guidance. So the preventive guidance must always be at work so as to enable the individual to be on track as far as life is concerned.
Again, it can also be conceptualized as helping people to understand themselves and their world. This was exactly what was said by Sheza and Stone, to know yourself and the environment which you are actually healing from. The next that we can consider is the creation of awareness, understanding or the realization of one's potential, meaning it is seen as a process which really helps people to become aware of themselves, to understand themselves, and they realize their own potentialities so that if the need be, they can actually develop them. The next is helping people to function properly, take the right decision, attain realistic goals, adjust satisfactorily in the environment, and attain success. Next subtopic is aims of guidance, and this one is by Holdsworth, 1982. According to him, guidance actually plays the role of increasing understanding of self, the world, and others. This has earlier on been explained. Knowing your weaknesses and strengths, know where you are operating from in terms of your environment, and knowing the very people you are really dealing with. And that is said to be one of the aims of guidance. Again, it is to encourage people to work cooperatively towards shared identified goals. It helps people to be in the situation of working together with others and to achieve identified goals. The next is to open people internal and external for change. It talks about internal and external motivations for behavior modification. Next is to allowing people to have access to those whose decisions have bearing on their lives. That is through the program of guidance, people are really connected to others who may have one or two decisions which are very much important on others. Again, using methods that are consistent with goals. Also, or here, the program actually will help people. Now, our next subtopic is 5 main characteristics of guidance. Under this, we have the first one, which says that guidance is concerned with making intelligent and useful choice when one is faced with certain difficulties. Under this situation, one is really made to weigh the pros and cons or the advantage and disadvantages of issues before taking a final decision. But then, the client is supposed to be made aware that he is responsible for the decision that really he takes. This means that he should not be influenced in any way by the guidance officer to take certain decisions. The only thing that he has to do is to assist the client to know how to go about considering the pros and cons or the advantage and disadvantages of the issues that are put before him. 2. Guidance is a service that is required at every stage of development of the student. This, in a way, can mean that the program is for all students. And for that matter, under no circumstance should any student be discriminated against. That aside, it is a service which is expected to meet the needs of all students at all levels. For example, we have first cycle, second cycle schools, and then the tertiary. Now, in the case of first cycle schools, guidance program can really teach students on issues about teenage pregnancy. When you get to second cycle, they can also be taught on issues of how to select schools for senior secondary schools or for higher schools. And then in the tertiary level, students can also be taught on even how to write resume. So in effect, the program is supposed to take place throughout the life of students in school and even beyond.
Yes, guidance. Third, guidance is a process. This has already been discussed, and I'm repeating it. It is because it is not a single episodic event or one day show. It is something that is supposed to go on throughout one's life. And that is what we call from cradle to the grave. It means that throughout one's life, guidance is supposed to actually take place. And in the process, one is really assisted at all times to come out with some sort of alternatives, which finally you make an attempt to come out with an intelligent decision making. Yes, the fourth one is guidance is a generalized and a specialized service. Now, if it is a generalized, then it means that almost everybody is actually involved in the process of helping the child. Here we can talk of the fact that the guidance officer is not the only person who actually does that. Teachers, housemasters, parents, and so forth and so on, they are all involved in helping the child to achieve exactly what he really wants. But it becomes specialized in a way that is where the guidance officer who has been trained to become a professional person to deliver a service of that sort.
Finally, guidance is to develop the individual for self-understanding and self-direction. Under this circumstance, the service really helps people to understand the true nature of themselves. In other words, it really helps them to be very much aware of their strengths and weaknesses as it has been projected by Shesa and Stone. And of course, knowing your weaknesses, that is where one can actually work on to succeed what you really desire in future.
Yes, students, we have been able to come to the end of this session. And as a summary, we have been able to look at the various definitions of guidance. And we did that by way of considering both the layman and psychologist's point of view. Besides, we have also become aware of the fact that guidance is a type of assistance given to people to realize their potentials, take right decisions, and also solve problems. Thank you. Thank you very much.